Welcome, everybody, to Den Excelsior, the Mostly Marvel Show. I'm your host, Ricky. With me, as always, is Dennis. This is episode 152.
It is.
We're talking about Agatha All Along in her third episode.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Yeah, you drank some of that witch's potion.
I got some Nicholas Scratch in my throat.
Yeah. Is this the fastest turnaround we've watched something and done a show about it? I don't think we've ever done something same day.
Yeah.
So the episode, for context, if you're listening, debuted.
We've done same day. We've done same day, but we've never done 2 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uncharted. You're gonna get some raw thoughts today. Are they good thoughts? Maybe not.
Ricky doesn't
raw.
Ricky, I just want to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, everybody who's great enough to tune in to listen to us and our weird family dynamic that we have going every week. Ricky tried to spoil the whole thing before the show, and he asked me. I
usually get some vibe check on if you like something or don't.
I know, but if we're gonna do it 2 hours after the show premiere, you don't get no vibe checks. You get none. Well, so it's a mystery. He doesn't know if I liked it or disliked it.
To quote the great ODB, "Ooh baby, I like it raw."
There you go. I will say this, regardless of how I feel about that show, I'm very happy that we have content again to like new content. I mean,
yeah, we got stuff. We were in a little dry spell, not in terms of what we were doing, because our show's always amazing. But
I meant new stuff. I don't get me wrong. I really do love that we got to go back and rewatch. For you, the first time, watch Dolph Lundgren's Punisher, or watch Ghost Rider or Ang Lee's Hulk. It's cool. It's cool to go back and know your roots and stuff like that. But it's been a while since, think about it. Deadpool and Wolverine was the last new piece of media we got.
End of July.
Yeah, it's been a while. So I'm happy. I'm just saying, when we started this show,
in about 2 months.
When we started this show, there was never a drought.
Yeah,
there was something every freaking week, almost all the time, and it was pretty funny. So, I'm happy. I think it's funny that Agatha and Penguin both decided to kick off on the same freaking week, and the only reason we're not talking about Penguin episode 2 this week is because they're actually they changed the schedule. So they just dropped the new one on Thursday last week, just to get it out there. But I guess the regularly scheduled time for releasing new episodes is going to be on Sundays. So we'll be talking about Penguin episode 2 the same week we're talking about Agatha episode 4, right?
There's actually another, I guess we're segue into what we've done this past week. There's another show coming out next week that I think we should probably try watching. Not for the show, but in context of the show. Have you heard of The Franchise? It's an HBO show that it's called The Franchise. It's going to be coming out, I think, next week, first week of October on HBO. It's a comedy, I think, produced by Sam Mendes. So Skyfall guy, or the Bond guy, the most recent Bond guy.
Okay.
Bond director, about directing a superhero film. And apparently it all comes from stories that Sam Mendes had when he was tapped to direct something. And then when he called his friends around and saying hey, is this something we should do? And they basically all told him no, because of various crazy ass stories that this show is now based on.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Interesting.
So,
I mean, I'd check it out for sure. I think it's really funny how the evolution of the studio franchise films and how they're regarded now. And to be fair, it also does signify the end of, the end of times for sure. What I mean is we're in late stage capitalism for sure, because it used to be back in the day, when studios wanted to measure the quality of a new up and coming director, they would toss a franchise film at him and be like, well, let's see how you do this, and then if you're good at it, then you can direct the things you want to
one for
direct.
me, one for you.
You know what I mean? But like nowadays, it's the reverse. You have to prove your worth to the studios to gain the opportunity to do a franchise film, and it's kind of strange.
The indie movie, and if your indie movie does well, then you get it. It's kind of weird because right, you do
the franchise film is the prize now, right?
You do your sub $100,000 movie, and then you literally get tossed like $2 billion to direct something like Spider-Man. Like it's pretty wild.
It is wild. Like it's a strange thing.
There's no B team.
Right, but it's also showing just how much the studios prioritize these franchise films now. As you know, like think about it. Like it's pretty nuts that like Deadpool and Wolverine has like been number one in the box office like almost every week this summer, dude. You know what I mean? Like it's people just keep going back to watch that movie. And it's wonderful as that is, don't get me wrong. I love that movie. It's a great experience. But like that movie is strangling a lot of other movies, basically. You know what I mean? Like a lot of movies are not even getting as much opportunity.
You get crazy in the meta and like movie release dates. It's like like that's why stuff changes so often because people plant stakes in certain dates. So like I think Superman and Fantastic Four are very close to each other, and they basically play the game of chicken until maybe like first passes of the movie go around like screeners, and then you start to really gauge like, all right, do I think I can take out Superman? If not, you move that date.
Yeah, I was more referring to like more artsy indie type films that just are struggling now. Like
you don't get nothing in the summer. Like
it's hard for them to survive in the landscape that is giant tentpole franchises constantly all year round now. But don't get me wrong, I love me some franchise films. Obviously, we love the Marvel and DC franchises. It's just I love movies as a whole. Like I really do. And
what's the newest franchise that you've enjoyed?
The newest franchise. That's a weird statement because I think by definition a franchise isn't new, right?
That's why I asked it.
Like it's not it's not new.
I'm trying to think in my head and I'm like, I guess it's Avatar. Is that the newest?
I don't think Avatar is that new. It's pretty old. Like it's just.
Is it new for a franchise though?
It's only 2 movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Harry Potter came out after Avatar, didn't it?
I mean, but that's still older because they are all connected. The Fantastic Beasts stuff. Yeah, that's
no. But I'm saying the Harry Potter movies came out. The first one came out after Avatar, didn't it? Or am I wrong?
No.
I don't
Daniel Radcliffe was a child in that first movie.
He still looks like
I am the same age of Daniel Radcliffe.
I don't remember. I don't know. That's a weird question to ask. Like, what's my favorite new franchise? Like, like I don't know. Like, I think the franchise that's impressed me the most lately is like the Alien franchise, just because like it was rough. It was rough for a long time. Like same goes for Predator. I think Prey really revitalized that franchise.
What was Fedez Alvarez, right? The director of the New Aliens.
Mm-hmm.
He did the Evil Dead remake, and he also did
he did a movie I just watched recently.
What was the one that put him on the map though?
I think he just did a horror movie a few years ago with Lamorne Morris, Winston from New Girl.
Yeah.
And I cannot remember. I can because I just watched it. I just watched it recently, and I can't remember what he did. Oh no, you know what? He did Don't Breathe 1 and 2.
That's what it was.
I actually have not watched Don't Breathe, but I want to.
People like those movies.
Yeah, I'm sure I would. I loved Evil Dead. That movie was great. Yeah, he did Don't Breathe, and I was like waiting for it to be free on Prime or something to watch it. So, wow, he's my age. That's cool. Go you, man. He also did The Girl in the Spider's Web, which was like wasn't it
The Girl in the Dragon Tattoo?
Dragon Tattoo like spin-off or something like that?
Was that a TV show?
No, it was a movie.
Um,
it looks very Dragon Tattooish, but whatever. But yeah, no, but that guy started with smaller movies and then worked his way up to franchises,
like
right?
Oh my god, the director for Shazam, he did Lights Out, the horror movie for Blumhouse. But
yeah,
before
but
that,
he got the Lights Out gig by doing
because of the YouTube thing.
Out, yeah, the YouTube thing, which
and that's
is way better.
Again, that's crazy. You do that, and then you Lights Out, and then you're like, all right, you want Shazam?
Like, it's true though. Like you
don't say no to that. Like it's just like,
I don't know. Yeah,
you don't say no because of money. I mean, I guess where it goes wrong is like the Josh Tranks, where like that'll tank your career for a hot
minute. That's the trick. That's what's wrong with what where we're at now is if your franchise movie sucks or doesn't perform to expectation, then you can kiss your career goodbye for a long time. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty rough after that, you know? So that's the problem, like that I see with putting so much of the emphasis on these large budget movies, like high risk, high reward for sure. But when you don't get the reward, that risk turns into massive punishment, you know? So it's a weird thing. But you know, something that's not high risk, high reward anymore that I've been enjoying is Only Murders in the Building. Oh my god,
I'm not caught up.
Oh, I'm caught up now. That's cool. I beat you. I caught up. I got past you. I love Jane Lynch so much, and so it's just a joy every episode that we get to like celebrate Zaz Pataki's life. It's really cool. But yeah, if you haven't seen the new one, I won't talk about it.
Did you like last week's episode then?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I love
your stuntman lore.
Oh yeah. The stuntman lore was good. That was last week. Huh? Yeah. I'm caught up. Yeah, because I watched one left. There's only 2 more.
I think it's like a 6-episode season. Yeah.
Oh no. Well, now I'm sad. Oh well. What about you? What else have you been watching?
This week, not so much. I've been in and out of the house. Sports, I guess. the boring answer. Live sports. Yeah, I got that. Heard some.
You know what I did on Saturday? I celebrated Batman Day. Because that is.
How do you celebrate Batman Day?
By watching the Batman.
I've never seen Batman Returns. Add that to our list.
What the hell?
I just watched because we did the Batman for this show, right?
Yeah, we did the Batman.
Not the Batman. Sorry, we did 89 Batman, right?
No, we have not done 89 Batman.
Okay.
I think we did Batman Forever. Did we not?
I do like that movie a lot.
Batman Forever? I love that movie. But you know what? I'll have to check which Batmans we've done, but we did the Batman last year when it came out. No, 2 years ago. Right? 2 years ago.
3 years ago. 2 years ago.
No, it's 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We did that one when it came out, and I was a little critical of it. And I got to say, the reason I watched it this weekend, I actually found out it was Batman Day after I watched it, which is really funny. I was like, oh, I guess I celebrated, you know? The reason I watched it was because I was still really hyped up after last week when we watched Penguin and we talked about it and we were asking questions like, was it like that in the movie? I can't remember, blah, blah, you know, like it had been so long. And so I went back and watched the movie, forgetting that it was 3 hours long. I totally forgot how long it was, but I was doing other stuff too. You know, I was preparing stuff for like photos and everything. And so it was fine to have as a background watch, but eventually it kind of sucked me in. And the more and more I watched it, like the more I forgave it for the things that upset me 2 years ago. And I think the really big thing that upset me is like sometimes I really try not to, but sometimes I let the outside hype get to me, right? And I think I remember 2 years ago, there was a lot of word of mouth and buzz around Colin Farrell's performance as the Penguin in that movie.
Yep.
And how transformed he was, and like, you know, you can't recognize him, all these things. And so I was really excited for that because he looked awesome in the trailers. And when I watched the movie, I think I was a little ticked off that he's barely in that movie. Like, it's a 3-hour movie and he's like in 6 or 7 scenes of that movie.
Yeah, it's more of the set piece of the Iceberg Lounge, if anything.
Yeah, and I ended up, like,
well, the car scene too.
The Batman, the version of it that's on HBO or Max right now, at the end of it, they tacked on a little making of the Penguin, and Matt Reeves is there talking about, like, when they made the movie, the point of the Penguin was kind of to be like a red herring, right? Like, and so it makes sense, in that context, but they felt like there was so much more story they wanted to tell with him. And I agree. Like, that was my big gripe with that movie. Other than the fact that Batman goes around calling himself Vengeance all day long, that's really stupid. It's so dumb. But I realize now that I have like 45 minutes or however long that Penguin episode was.
A whole another hour of
like the whole hour of Penguin. I'm no longer mad at the lack of him in the Batman. And so retroactively, I now like the Batman way more. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the fun of franchises, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes they have the opportunity to right wrongs.
There you go. That's your answer. The Batman franchise is now your newest favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, they righted a wrong for me, and I suddenly found that movie way more enjoyable to watch, because now I'm like, oh, I have my Penguin content. I'm not worried about him. So let's enjoy this Carmine Falcone content. Let's enjoy this Catwoman content. Let's enjoy, let's enjoy Batman and Alfred and their relationship. And like, it made it easier to digest that movie, even though like the Riddler's like a weird incel like freak. I don't know.
Well, I for me, it's just like, for a hot minute, Batman's been like this almost like Superman-esque character where like he's perfect, right? Batman wins any fight, right? That's like the joke. Batman can beat anybody. But the conceit with him being a newer Batman, an objectively like shittier Batman, and watch him progress and learn, I think that's a cool setting or place to be in, because now okay, yeah, it makes sense why the Penguin might be able to do certain things at this point in his Penguin villainy. Because this Batman seems to be more reactive and not proactive, right?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Christian Bale's was pretty reactive too. Like he's still learning to be Batman in Batman Begins.
In the Batman, Robert Pattinson technically, like, the Riddler beats him. Like, he doesn't solve the final riddle, and because of that, we are now getting essentially his Penguin show, because Gotham goes to shit for the bomb blowing up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I kind of call bullshit on him not solving the final riddle. He didn't know there was a final riddle because it was under the carpet, and that was
that tool is like the first thing you see in that movie.
it's kind of dumb.
Foreshadowing.
It's kind of dumb. But he's also like a rich
man doesn't know blue collar work.
Yeah, he has to have a blue collar guy explain to him what the carpet like tucker is. Like I don't fault Batman for that one, but like I get your point. Like I do appreciate in that movie that there is a loss, but there's also a win in that he realizes he needs to be more than just a guy who beats up on criminals. He needs to be more for that city. And so the real win is him saving all these people. And I think that's cool. Like
the Batman that people know, right? The Batman ethos.
Yeah.
Batman's a really smart guy. Batman studies, he learns, he trains. But a lot of learning is also failure, right?
Yeah, but if you got to read year one, and like year one, you get to see that he doesn't have it all together, and like that's.
But this movie shows it. That's movie. You get more inklings in this movie about that than others, and that's what's cool.
Yeah, well, I definitely got that from Batman Begins also, when Ra's al Ghul just shows up and like, surprise, bitch, like he's Like he was pretty thrown off on that one too. Like, so, and his house burned down. That's kind of a big loss. He did. I'm not saying that's as big as Gotham flooding for sure, but they did burn down all of Wayne Manor, which is pretty iconic for the Batman universe.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy that movie, that franchise, Batman franchise, has like no Batcave. Except for the first movie.
And the very end of the last movie.
Yeah, then they're back in a cave.
But that's what I'm saying, right? There's no Batcave because they freaking burned down the bat. That like I think that's a loss. That he took an L on that one, man. He really did. So it's okay. Like the beauty of the Batman franchise really is like even we can compare different trilogies to other ones. Like we can say like, or different different series of Batman movies. Like so, we can sit here all day and compare Christian Bale's Batman to Pattinson's, but the reality is like embarrassment of riches. Like we have both of them, so you get to have.
Oh, this Batman movie's better than those Batman movies.
Yeah, I don't think any one of them is perfect.
We're about to enter a world where we're gonna have two concurrent, I guess 3 if you want to throw the Joker in there, Batman franchises going on at the same time.
If Jack Nicholson doesn't get paid for the Joker, it doesn't count.
Okay, 2 Batman franchises ongoing at the same time.
But I think that's why they're doing these spin-offs, right? Like the Penguin show and the Joker movies. Like they're like, hey, this is money we don't have to pay Jack.
Oh, the Joker is probably 100% that.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's funny, but yeah, no, I'm so happy I rewatched that movie, and it actually only got me more hyped for the Penguin. I know we were talking a lot about like I was sending you notes about like things I kind of forgot. Like I kind of forgot that Sophia and Alberto Falcone are actually Catwoman's half siblings. You know what I mean? Because that's the big twist in the comics, in the Long Halloween comics, and in this story. Or actually, it's hinted at in Long Halloween. It takes 3 books before they finally officially confirm it, I think. But yeah, she's the daughter of Carmine Falcone, who was played by John Turturro. And I noticed in the Penguin show, they cast Mark Strong because I read
he was supposed to be like a younger one, but then like in the
they showed a
flashback,
picture. Yeah, they showed a picture.
Show Mark Strong's.
Yeah, I guess they couldn't get John Turturro for scheduling reasons, is what I heard. So that's kind of a bummer.
That's a healthy replacement.
And then they also replaced some rando guy who is shown in a mugshot or whatever, like a news clip for Sal Maroni, but they replaced him with Clancy Brown, which is he's always cool. Clancy Brown gets around in these franchises. Just as a reminder, like he was the bad guy in Daredevil season 2. He was that cool. Yeah, dude. He's the guy that the Punisher was going to take the fall for, right? You don't remember
Daredevil season 2.
What?
I stopped at the prison episode.
Yeah, he's the secret guy that he was Punisher's mentor, but you find out like he's the guy like that was puppet mastering all this like crazy arms deals and stuff like that that Frank Castle was getting. Yeah, it's complicated, but Clancy Brown was in that one. He was that devil creature character in Mandalorian.
Yeah,
he was in
Thor.
Yeah, he's Surtur in Thor.
Yeah.
He's also in Ahsoka. He plays because he's the governor of that town that they live in, like Sabine lives in. Because canonically, he was in the old
cartoon
show.
Yeah,
the cartoon. Yeah, the guy gets around, man. So I'm not mad. But yeah, no, those are just little notes. And then you were mentioning we failed to ever mention the fact that that Colin Farrell not only like transformed his face, there's an entire scene where he's butt naked in that show. So they created a whole naked suit for the Penguin. It's
Well,
quite
so
disgusting.
at the Comic-Con panel, they were saying like when he's in the penguin getup, the only thing that you can see ever is his eyes.
Yeah.
But even he's wearing gloves, shoes. He has like a full-on suit, whether he is naked in the show or not.
Mm-hmm.
That man is covered from head to toe, and
Yeah.
it's impressive. Like it is like that's a cool challenge for an actor to take on, let alone like execute at this level. For
Yeah.
a penguin show, like right, like he could have done any number of things with this concept, but you know,
Yeah.
to have it be the penguin, it's kind of cool.
It's amazing. Like I just think it's funny because Colin Farrell's like I can picture Colin Farrell's eyes like they stand out, but they stand out because of those eyebrows. And so to cover those eyebrows, it completely changes his entire face. You know what I mean? Like you just can't see him anymore. But all right, that's it. I'm done gushing this week.
We're done talking about those, but we got some news on some even more franchises.
All right, let's go.
Coming our way. Yesterday, we got our first look at the trailer for the Thunderbolts coming out next year on May 2nd. As someone in one of the comments for this photo mentioned, these are all the Marvel Legends that did not sell.
I mean, that's kind of true.
So the trailer released yesterday. It's very similar to the one from Comic-Con. The Comic-Con was slightly longer.
Are you serious? It was yesterday?
Yeah, this trailer came out yesterday.
Oh my god, that has been the longest 2 days of my life. I thought I watched this like so long ago.
That's Monday. Crazy. I could be wrong.
No, it was probably yesterday.
What do you think?
So one, I like the little asterisk on Thunderbolts. I think it's cool. I think it's cool because I feel like there's something wrong with this movie being called Thunderbolts. So I appreciate the asterisk.
Well, the rumor is probably going to be this is just a Dark Avengers movie by the end of it.
Cool, fine, sure. That's better. I think the movie looks awesome. I think choosing to have Florence Pugh and I'm losing his name. Sebastian Stan.
Their stocks are pretty high right now.
Choosing to have those two be the anchors for this movie, like the leads. Excellent. Excellent. You can't go wrong with Florence Pugh right now. I still take issue with it being called Thunderbolts because I see no Zemo, but this is also a teaser trailer. It's a teaser trailer, so fine, whatever. It's cool.
I mean, we did get little hints of the Sentry.
Yeah. Sentry has nothing to do with Thunderbolts, so I don't give a crap. Like that's what I'm saying.
Well,
if you take the title off this movie, I freaking love it. I love it.
It's but it's not the first movie of this offense. There's some other movies with questionable titles.
Yes. So I'm excited to see this movie. I think it's probably going to be like a solid, 8 out of 10 kind of movie. I think it looks strong. I think it's going to give characters like Ghost and Taskmaster and one,
if not both of those characters are not making it out of this movie.
But I think it's going to give them and like Red Guardian another chance to really like show off a little bit more depth and dimension. But yeah, I just feel like it's weird to call it the Thunderbolts. Like,
well,
that's it.
I was reading up on the Sentry, and we had talked about it in our post Comic-Con show, like what his origin and role would be. And then I mentioned that they're in Avengers Tower, and you guys are like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." And then it's like, okay. There is a reference to the Watchtower in this trailer as well.
I figured. It's gonna be his
Watchtower. But sure. The big thing with the Sentry is, I can't recall if he did it, but he's basically been around for a long time, and he does like a Doctor Strange mind wipe on everybody to forget that he was ever the Sentry.
Yeah, I think so. Something like that. Well, yeah. Well, you know the origins of him in the comics, right?
He predates. Well, originally he predates like Fantastic Four, doesn't he?
Well, no, it's the way he works in the comics is the Marvel and Brian Michael Bendis teamed up for a hoax.
Mm-hmm.
They basically said, "Okay, guys, we're pretty lucky to show you this, but like we just found a long lost Stan Lee comic that was never printed,
Mm-hmm.
and we'd like to debut this for you now." And so the art looks like 1960s art, and every issue says it's written by Stan Lee. And then when it was all done, they're like, "Did you like it? Psych! Actually, Brian Michael Bendis wrote that, and it's brand new." And like, and that was the whole. But
Okay.
but it's too late now because now the Sentry's in the universe, because it was a retcon basically, right?
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, hey, here's a character you didn't know has always been around, and
Mm-hmm.
so it kind of the mind wipe kind of works because it's meta, right? Because like our minds were wiped, and so were the characters.
Does the mind wipe thing need to happen? Is that like an intrinsic part of Sentry story or
I don't
whatnot?
know. I feel like at this point in the Marvel universe, like there's already so many questions. Like the Eternals brings up so many questions. Like you know what I mean? Like they've been so like Shang-Chi, like
Yeah.
Wenwu. Where was that guy this whole time? You know, like there's so
He was
many
parking
questions.
cars.
Wenwu? I'm talking about
Oh,
Wenwu,
Wenwu?
yeah, the guy that's been
Oh.
around for thousands of years.
Yeah, he's just chilling. You know, why would he leave that place? The place looks awesome.
I'm saying like we've already got so many weird continuity issues already. I don't really care if we have more. It's fine. You know, like just like I think Captain
Salma
Marvel
Hayek was on a ranch in Texas. Like
Captain Marvel was the first continuity like
she was in
confusing thing,
space.
right? Right, but they keep having to do that. So it's fine. It's fine. I'm not mad at it. Like I like the Eternals. I like
Mm-hmm.
all those things, but at some point you just got to accept that the universe is a little too big, and sometimes you just got to have, if you want a new
That's
character.
big, but you expand it and then you contract it with certain,
Yeah,
and it makes it weird.
yeah, sure.
But I think this next bit of news,
Some people just don't even like acknowledge these certain things, and that's fine too. You can play it that way.
I love that movie. Don't diss that movie.
You can play. I love the Eternals. I think it's a great movie. I'm really sad that it's not getting a sequel. It's a bummer.
Well, maybe this will cheer you up.
It did.
Kyle Chandler.
It did.
From Friday Night Lights is set to play Hal Jordan in the HBO Lantern series. So this is the Green Lantern show that's going to be on Max. That is tied to the DCEU. So this is a canonical, whatever new DC franchise story going forward. Okay. Is that a Hal Jordan? Is he Hal Jordan?
One thing before I even say anything about this, you said maybe this will cheer you up. Did I make you believe that the Thunderbolts didn't cheer me up like that? I'm very excited for that movie. Just to be clear, I just have issue with the title of it. That's it.
Well, good thing there's an asterisk. There you go.
Exactly. That's why I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. Yeah. So just to be clear, thumbs up
this
on that.
This news made you happier.
Now, well, I mean, the Thunderbolts, I got to see stuff, but this made me super happy because I've actually been following on like TikTok, like the whole scouting process for Hal Jordan. Like there was a laundry list of people they were trying to get. Josh Brolin was their first one that they were trying to get. There was a few other people I cannot remember, but they finally settled on my guy, man. Like you don't understand.
Hal Chandler was almost Cable, mind you.
I know, and like you don't understand. Like I will watch things with this man that I know are gonna suck just because I love this man so much.
Great in what are the King of Monsters?
He is in King of Monsters.
He is.
That's all I will say. He is in it. He's in it. But no, but like let's be real. Like if like I know we talk about a lot of nerdy stuff on the show, but like I said before, I like movies, I like TV, there are TV shows I geek out on that have nothing to do with superhero content. And one of those, like way up on my list of like favorite TV shows ever, Friday Night Lights, man. And it's because of this guy. This guy sells clear hearts or clear eyes, full hearts can't lose so hard every week. And I just love him. I just think he's a very real, very down to earth, and very like middle America kind of character that he plays a lot. And so when I hear that, like he's going to be Hal Jordan, yeah, dude, this is going to be great. Like this is going to be good.
He's probably going to be an old one, obviously an older
Yeah,
Hal Jordan.
Exactly. That's fine.
Experienced Hal Jordan, and Hal Jordan that's ready to train perhaps a Jon Stewart.
My assumption is that a Lanterns series is more or less going to follow Kyle Rayner and Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart and Kyle Rayner are like the younger ones. You know what I mean?
Okay.
What?
Who's the newest woman that's kind of been the focal point?
It's not Jade, is it? I can't. There's so many. Jessica Cruz. Jessica Cruz. Yeah, she's another Terran. So like Sector 3814, I think, is Earth, and they always joke in the comics that Sector 3814 has way more Green Lanterns than any sector should. Like you're only supposed to have one per sector, but somehow somehow Earth has like 4 of them.
This place sucks. We got like a bunch of cops everywhere.
Yeah, 5 if you count Alan Scott, I think, who is the original Green Lantern before Hal Jordan.
The red suit.
Yeah. With the cape and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's just there's too many damn ones. But it is cool that Damon Lindelof is attached to this one because he did Watchmen, and that was pretty good. Like I don't know, man. I don't mind. I don't want to see Kyle Chandler in spandex flying around doing lots of superhero stuff. No, I want him to be delivering words of wisdom. That's what I want out of him.
That oath is probably going to hit pretty hard coming from Kyle Chandler.
When he does it, hell yeah, it is. Like that's what I'm saying.
Do you want this show in space?
Yes,
is this a space show?
Yes. The show has to be in space. The show has to be at least partially in space.
Is it more like a Captain Marvel situation with the Green Lantern, where he's just kind of he's not here unless
it's more like the Nova Corps. The Nova Corps is like
yeah. But I guess in terms of stories, like he is from Earth, but he's not necessarily worried about Earth unless it's like a Justice League event. Or is he just is he based out of here? I guess that's what I'm asking.
I mean, it's kind of like where the job takes you, right? Like, so they're space cops, right? Like they're so like, sometimes the job means protecting Earth. Sometimes, the guys on Oa, I forget their names, the
Watchers? Not the Watchers.
No, they're not the Watchers. I forget their names.
The blue guys.
Yeah, but the Guardians. The Guardians.
Yeah.
Sometimes the Guardians are like, hey, we need you to go investigate this space mystery. Please help us with this, And so if you've never watched it, like the entire season of the Green Lantern cartoon that was produced by Bruce Timm. So it's in the style of Batman the Animated Series and Superman,
the CG.
but it's CG.
Yeah,
that show is excellent, and it mostly follows Hal Jordan as he's doing space cop stuff and uncovering a crazy mystery that's going on in the galaxy and stuff like that. But sometimes there's stuff on Earth too, so it could be both. But that's kind of why they have so many of them, right? So you can have one that's watching Earth while the other ones are using their expertise out elsewhere and stuff. But I think the most fun part about like the different characters is like the way they interpret using the ring is so different. You know what I mean? So like Hal Jordan's got a little bit of sass to the way he uses them. So he creates fun things like catcher's mitts or like or giant boxing gloves to punch people with or something like that. But then like Jon Stewart is like a full military man all the way. So everything he makes is very straight and efficient, right? It's like he shoots straight lasers, or he'll shoot just weapons and stuff like it's very direct and quick. And then you have Kyle Rayner, who's like at the time, you know, back in the 90s and stuff, he was like the young new one. And Kyle Rayner is like, he's like an artist. He's like a cartoon, he's a comic book artist. And so the ring in his hands is wild because it's just like he just imagines crazy artsy things and stuff like that, you know. And then there's also Guy Gardner, you know what I mean? Sorry, I forgot. There's at least
Nathan Fillion.
There's at least 5, dude. Like all the time, there's 5. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. But
Well,
I'm very excited. I'm very excited because I know that James Gunn is putting together his universe one piece at a time, and that is an excellent piece to have on the board. So very happy.
Very happy indeed.
And then here we go.
Here we go. Let's see if we're happy with this. Agatha All Along, season 1, episode 3, debuted earlier today. We get to see Agatha and company's first trial on the Witch's Road.
I forgot what the title of this episode is called. It doesn't have it on
the one where they say Mephisto.
It is the one where they say Mephisto, but that is not the title of the episode. It's another lyric from the banger of a song that we got. I will not keep you in suspense any longer. I for anybody who's watching the show that actually read the YouTube summary, I said we're eating crow on this show because you know, I was hating on this all summer long. I actually really loved this episode. I thought it was excellent. I thought it was a very entertaining 39 minutes of TV. And it made me care a lot less that it doesn't feel like it exists in the larger universe, which is hilarious because at the same time they also mentioned the name Mephisto, which I kind of assumed is what the M on the teen's mouth was a brand for last week, you know, but I think there's a little bit more confirmation probably, even though they didn't say it, you know, they were just like throwing out ideas like maybe he's an agent of Mephisto, blah, 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 you know, like just saying the word it felt like somebody put their hand on my back and just rubbed me gently and said, it's okay. It's
like,
okay.
Sorry for all the WandaVision shit.
Exactly. That 100% that.
Like, you were right. You weren't crazy.
Yeah, dude. That's all I wanted is just to be like what? Why be as nerdy as we are if we can't be validated about these kind of things sometimes? And so it really, just like the absence of Mephisto, when they just kept shoving him in our faces all like throughout that show and just never acknowledging him was just really frustrating. So it's really nice that they just name dropped him, and they also gave us a new hint at who Teen could be, which is actually, I think, a more powerful thing, right? It's a more powerful thing to have him be somebody who's probably related to Agatha, and is probably Nicholas Scratch, which is what she calls her bunny. But Nicholas Scratch is Agatha's son in the comic books.
Oh, you took it as that? I'm pretty sure he's Wiccan, and the bunny's the son.
I don't know, but I don't care. Also, that's the other trick. Is like I like the idea that he could be Agatha's son, and that's why she doesn't recognize him. You know, because they say that she wouldn't even recognize her own son. Because
none of them recognized him, which was kind of the neat part,
right? But because she sold him, in theory, you know, we learn in this episode that the rumor is Agatha sold her baby to Mephisto in exchange for the Darkhold, right? And so, if that rumor is true, we are potentially presented with the easy answer to this puzzle. Now, that said, do they like to go the easy way? WandaVision has taught us no. They but I mean, I guess the other way of looking at it is WandaVision did teach us yes, because we all knew that Agnes was Agatha the entire freaking season, and we kept waiting for something else to happen. You know what I mean? But no, it was just Agatha all along. So maybe they are being obvious for a reason. Who knows? But all I know is I came to this show for one reason only. I came for Aubrey Plaza, but I will stay for
2
Deborah Jo.
episodes. I
I will
mean,
stay for Deborah Jo Rupp.
no Aubrey in 2 episodes.
I will stay for Kitty Foreman all day, every day.
Well, she might be done with her too. So
Yeah, maybe. But if she's gone, then Aubrey will probably come back. But I'm saying, like, I found a lot of joy in the performances this week. I thought that we finally got to like sit down with these characters and just get to know them a little bit and
exposition dump of the first 2.
It was a lot. It was a lot of exposition. Yeah.
Cool. We're witches now. We're doing the witch thing. We're
gonna do a trial. We're gonna do a trial every week, and every week the trial is gonna focus on a different one of the witches' specialties, right? So this episode was highlighting Jennifer Kale's ability. She's an alchemist, right? That's her whole. And so she had to brew potions, and that was just a fun episode. It was playful. It
was like Halloween Town's a little bit of American Horror Story. You get to see a lot of the witch tropes,
so many
adapted for this kind of new setting.
Yeah,
like they're in like this like super fancy beach house.
Yeah,
but you know, like the same witch logic applies, just in a slightly different context. And I did like some of the. It's a little scary in the middle.
They have some stakes. They have some cool stakes that are like that are raised as the delirium kicks in, and you start learning a little bit about them, and you see some cool generically horrifying things, right? Like that out of context are scary looking, and that's what they were for us, right? They were kind of out of context. We don't really know a lot about.
One of those looked like a thing, though.
Okay, like what thing?
Lady, that was Lady Death, like a comic accurate Lady Death. Lady skull face with the hood on. Or it's just Death, right? It's not Lady Death.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
But it's cool for, for a long time, right, in the MCU, magic was like not a thing, right?
Yeah.
Doctor Strange comes in. We get a few shows, few movies.
Well, you could argue Thor did it first, but they wrote it off in a weird way, right?
Yes, it's science you don't understand.
They're like he's an alien.
Yeah, but there's the next pillar from that stems from magic is like this horror, spooky, element that we cracking the door open with, like Werewolf by Night, Moon Knight dabbles into it.
We cracked the door open pretty good with Werewolf by Night, and then
the top of the pyramid on that pillar, or I guess in that the top of the chain is Mephisto, right? So to start, now we're getting dabbles of like him, his underlings, the rest of the company that he carries, and I think that's cool that we're really fleshing out the Marvel universe. And
I think in the context of like in the comics, like the two really big, like crazy sorcery, scary, like witch or like magical people are Mephisto and Dormammu. And I think we've gotten not enough Dormammu in the last few years. He was kind of played for like a funny joke, and we never really got to see the power of Dormammu. So I'm hoping that we're really building up to a Mephisto that impresses me. I've heard rumors that he's going to be coming to Fortnite soon, so there might be a reason.
There's a strong rumor that he's in Ironheart. Takes on the Hood.
Yeah,
who is a Mephisto adjacent character.
Exactly. Yeah. So, as long as we eventually get to a Ghost Rider, I'm good.
Do you? Just ask us a question. How do you usually defeat Mephisto? is he like a punchy beat 'em up type of villain, or do you like? Is it a break the curse scenario?
It's kind of like an
Do you be?
outsmarting.
Do
You
you?
got to
Yeah.
outsmart the devil kind of thing. You know what I mean? You gotta be trixier than him.
Play the
That's
fiddle down in Georgia.
yeah. You don't really punch the devil. That's not
Like
how you.
panels where Ghost Rider punches Mephisto.
No, that's not how that works. Yeah. So, uh, but yeah, the I don't want to get so hyped on the Mephisto of it. Like I don't like. Here's my thing. I'm not letting this happen. So I know you're asking me questions about Mephisto.
You've been burned before.
Yeah. I'm not trying to do this. I'm not. What I'm saying is,
It felt good.
If the whole episode felt fun and it felt like, I had the question last week: are we trying to develop this part of the universe, or are we trying to have a fun Halloween story to lead into Halloween? And I'm fine if it's more column B than column A. Like what they gave me was a really fun witch story this week where we got to see all these interesting characters like be silly, have crazy, weird fat faces from the potion. Like like I like when Patty LaPone's like, I kind of like it, like that was such a ridiculous thing for her to say in that moment. I loved watching Deborah Jo Rupp, who is not a witch in this story, just be forced to go along with their adventures. I don't know if she's dead. I'm not gonna be like super mad if she is.
I was kind of thinking like it would be kind of cool, not to tie back to Mephisto, but if it's like what's that dumb movie? Is it Devil? The M. Night movie?
Yeah.
If like the old lady turns out it was the devil, spoilers, the devil whole time, like if she's
Could
just
be.
Mephisto in disguise.
Could be. Stop it, Ricky. Stop getting me excited.
Fun episode, not overly long, not overly short.
Yeah.
Little tease on what's next. And
I have one gripe. Yeah, I'll let you finish what you're saying.
No, it's a solid episode. Like it's been a hot minute since we've gotten a solid episode of a show. Even Echo that was probably like the most recent show, right? The one came out earlier this year. Had its spots, high spots, low spots, but
it was a little slow at times for sure.
We're definitely hitting a stride with Agatha.
Yeah, this one is a better constructed show where they're giving me something that I enjoy watching every episode.
Takes me back to WandaVision days.
Sure. I think I'm enjoying this more than WandaVision because it's not pissing me off actively every time I try and like solve the mysteries and stuff like that. But I did like WandaVision for the acting above all else. Mm-hmm. And I say the same thing is true this time around. Like I think Catherine Hahn delivers some amazing acting in the show. Like that moment where she thinks a baby's in the cradle and she goes up to it and just starts crying like on cue. Like, ooh, it was beautiful. It was a really cool thing.
I don't know why they don't just make multiple copies of the Darkhold.
I know, right? My one gripe with this entire episode was when Jennifer is making the potion to save them all from the potion they already drank, right? Mm-hmm. And she realizes that it needs to be boiling.
The sous vide. I love that part.
So they sous vide it, right? But once they finish making it, they immediately dip their hands in the water that is boiling to fill their glasses and then immediately chug it. And I'm like, how are you chugging boiling water? Like,
yeah, I can chug boiling water.
Please don't.
That's a new Agatha challenge for you. The boiling water challenge.
We need to put a disclaimer here now because of you. No, do not try to chug boiling water ever. Don't do it. That was it. That was my one gripe. Like I think they kind of forgot that it was boiling.
It's like a witch thing. They can just do that. That's why she died. She wasn't a witch.
Yeah, she was dying from poison and they poured boiling water down her. That's pretty messed up, man. Yeah, so That's it. That was my one gripe. Like everything else about the show, I absolutely loved. I love seeing them all go crazy from delirium. I loved watching Agatha try to hide that she didn't drink the drink. I love the random thing where suddenly the house is underwater, like, and they all have to climb through an oven. It's just that the entire show demands that you go and take a lot of psychedelics because it's just there to be fun. That's all it's trying to do. It's not trying to reinvent the wheel. It's just trying to be fun for you. And I can get behind a show that's just trying to be fun. Like, so
I can do. No, it's fun.
So-
We're in to wrap this all up. We're in a cool spot with the superhero shows where we're hitting strides with two things at the same time.
Yeah. Like last week I said I'm not excited for Agatha episode 3, but I'll watch it. This week I can safely say I am excited to watch episode 4 and the Penguin. Like now next week we'll have two cool things to talk about. That's awesome. So yeah, wrap it up. Go for it. Unless you got more stuff you got to say.
No, I'm good. I said my piece. I'm happy with the show. I think it's great. As we wrap this puppy up, stay tuned next week where we talk about Agatha episode 4 and the Penguin episode 2. If you like what you hear or like what you see, find us at patreon.com/StanXmedia. But other than that, with that, true believers, enough said.